How you doing, guys? Big Mac Nanschool here today, back once again with another Mortal Realms video for you. Today we're going to be taking a look through the pages of issue 10. Before we get started though, I want to say a massive thank you to Splinter for sponsoring his second video of the month. This is unbelievable support. If you'd like to support the channel and help me continue to make these Mortal Realms videos week after week, you can follow a link in the description below to my Patreon, where you'll find 3 different pledge levels. If you want to sponsor a video in the same way that Splinter's done, it'll cost you $12 or a little more because of taxes and stuff like that. And then that enables me to buy an issue of Mortal Realms. But if you want to pledge, at a lower level, then you can do so. There's 2 lower levels in that. I might be playing around with the levels a little bit going forward, just to see if I can drum up any more support and stuff like that, see what people are comfortable pledging. Right, onto the video then, onto the issue. So, Mortal Realms issue 10, what do we get with the issue this week? We get a Tomb Banshee and some Khorne red paint, making it a decent value issue overall. The Tomb Banshees are quite an old model now. It's £10 itself, and the pot of paint, the Khorne red, is £2.75, giving us a value of £12.75 for the issue, and that is a saving of £4.76. Wowzers. So it's not the greatest saving we've had on any issues, but it's a decent saving. We get Tomb Banshee, like I said, painting with Khorne red, and new rules to play through on the front cover. Turning to the first page though, we get Nighthaunt Tomb Banshees. It runs us through the lore of the Tomb Banshees. I'll just hit you with some bullet points, shall I? We've got Tomb Banshees are bitter and vengeful. They were tormented and betrayed in life. They're armed with chill daggers. Their touch can stop a beating heart, and their scream can freeze the blood in your veins. Woo! Very spooky indeed. And then on to, not the next page, but the one after, the forging of a Stormcast Eternal. It's a cool little bit of lore that is little known to me. I don't know much about it, so let's run through it together, shall we? It requires some of the most complicated and powerful magic in existence. It's a super complicated process. Obviously, you're taking someone's soul out of the body and making them into a superhuman soldier. The Stormcast Eternals are created in the Sigmarian under the light of the High Star, Sigindil or Sigindil. I don't know, you pick. Their souls are reforged on the Anvil of Apathesis. No hammer rings upon the anvil though, but a beam of celestial light, the raw magic of the heavens. So it shines through some kind of focus point, I would have thought. It doesn't go into great detail there. It shines through some kind of focus point and boom! Hits the Anvil of Apathesis, and then their soul is forged into into the body of a great hero. Their shoulders broad, they're 6, 7, 8 feet tall, something ridiculous like that. Kind of like a Space Marine, but in Age of Sigmar. Funny that, isn't it? Yeah. So when they launched Age of Sigmar, the game relaunched what was Warhammer Fantasy into Age of Sigmar. They needed a figurehead, something as iconic as the Space Marines. This is Games Workshop. So they needed something as iconic as the Space Marines, so they came up with the Stormcast Eternals, and they came up with a magic creation process rather than a genetic science creation process, which, you know, it's similar and it's apt, I suppose, for you see it in certain other franchises, things like The Witcher. The Witcher himself is created through magic and surgery and stuff like that, and the mages in The Witcher, I think they're called mages, I don't know. I've only seen the TV show, I've not played the game or read the novels or anything. Yeah, they're created through surgeries and stuff like that, and magic obviously, because they're mages. Anyway, back to Age of Sigmar, Mortal Realms magazine. It gives us a few examples of some Stormcast Eternals and who they were in life and who they became to be reforged as. One of particular interest to me was Thornus the Redeemed. He was once a noble hero, but he fell to chaos. Nurgle tempted him and corrupted him, and he led vast armies of Nurgle in the Plague Gods, or vast armies in the Plague God's name. slain by the Celestin Prime, who is like the top dog. not the top dog Stormcast Eternal, but he's like an ultimate hero of the Stormcast Eternals. But the Celestin Prime, as he slew him, he saw in him a speck of valour within his soul, and Taunus was reforged as a Knight Venator and now serves Sigmar. So even those corrupted by the Plague God, corrupted by the Chaos Gods themselves, can be, what's the right word? Can be, I can't think of the right word, let's just say reforged, because it's talking about the forging. So they can be redeemed, that's the word. Even those corrupted by the Plague God can be redeemed and reforged into a hero in the Age of Sigmar and into a Stormcast Eternal. There we go. That's that, the forging of a Stormcast Eternal. It's a cool little bit of lore that I'd like to know a little bit more about it. I wonder if there's any books out there, any novels out there or anything about that particular character. It'd be interesting. Wake Not the Dead. This is a short story about grave robbers, basically, or a particular grave robber. Across Shyish, the desperate and the damned scratch a cursed living, stealing from tombs of the forgotten dead. There are riches to be won, but the risks are great. In Shyish, the dead still walk, and vengeance is terrifying to behold. And their vengeance is terrifying to behold. So yeah, it's a short story basically about a grave robber. And he breaks into a tomb, and then, ooh, the lights go out. And then he's trying to get his light back on, his lantern back on. He's trying to relight it with his metal and flint or whatever you use to light a thing. Lantern. I'm not a survivalist. I'm not Ray Mears. I'm not Bear Grylls. You know, you can't expect me to know all these things, can you? Anyway, on to the next page. We get how to build a Tomb Banshee. It's 2 simple pages, really easy. And it's, 2 pages, simple instructions. We get 2 bases with the Tomb Banshee. So we get a base on the sprue, which is a square base. We don't use those square bases in Age of Sigmar. They were used in the older game, Warhammer Fantasy Battles, which ran up to like 8th edition, I think, and is coming back in a slightly different form from the specialist games department at Games Workshop. However, the square base, we don't use it, it's saying. I know there's a way to use it. You can clip the edges of the base off and then glue the actual base itself onto the circular base. And then when we eventually get texture paint, you can put texture paint around the edge of that in order to blend it into the circular base a bit better. So there's a little tip for you if you want to use some of that lovely detail we've got on the square base. But yeah, just a little snippet of hobby knowledge there that I like to do when I've got an old square base. I did it with a dwarf slayer miniature, for a mini Warzone? No. Wargamer Online painting competition or something it was, or just a painting challenge. I don't know if it was a competition, I can't remember. But yeah, I did it with a dwarf for that and it worked well, because they came with a base on the sprue as well. So anyway, on to the how to build Tomb Banshees and, how to paint. Yeah, I have written paint, but I read build. How to paint the Tomb Banshees and Nighthorn. It's 6 pages, and then on the last page, it's up here behind me, we get what looks like, I don't know, I feel like there's too much colour on them. Like I said in previous episodes, I really like just the ghostly ethereal look of the, I think it was a Nihilakh Oxide all over the miniature, which was painted first off in Corax White, Nihilakh Oxide, and then a Corax White dry brush, I think it was. I really like the look that gives you. I think adding more colours to it, to me, takes away from the miniature. However, this isn't the finished stage, so we've still got more steps to do here to make it a completed miniature. So it's probably going to look a lot better than this when it's finished. It's just, it looked good, and then it looks a bit, it's a bit jarring. I think the colours are just, for me, too bold. If we could get them washed out slightly, maybe if you watered down your colours a bit so you could see some of the ghostly ethereal bluey white shining through, it'd probably just look really weird. Don't take tips from me, but feel free to experiment on your own miniatures. Then the next page we get the playthrough, Chilled Blades and Hearts of Ice. 6 pages. It guides you through the combat phase again. Now you may think, oh, we've already done that, we did it in like the first issue, I think. But it's not quite the same. because in an actual full game of Age of Sigmar, you get to fight in each other's combat. So in my turn, I might charge with some of my models, let's say some Tomb Banshees, I might charge them into your Sequitors. I get to attack first, but then you get to attack back. So because there's two parts of each combat phase, an attacker's, a charger's part, or the player whose turn it is, they get to attack, and then the player whose turn it isn't gets to attack as well. They get to attack back, basically. So you're each attacking twice in a game round combat phase, if the word is right there that I've just used. So yeah, you get to attack in your turn and your opponent's turn, assuming you've still got models alive to attack with, of course. And we get updated war scrolls as well, which includes new weapons for Sequitors, which are called Stormsmite Great Maces. They are very similar to the Stormsmite Mauls. I think that's what the ones with the Sequitors previously are called, Stormsmite Mauls. And they are very similar. They hit on 3s, you get 2 attacks with them, and they are wounded on 3s as well. The only difference is they do 2 damage, and the model holding them doesn't have a shield as well, so they won't have as good a save, I wouldn't have thought, but I'm not entirely sure about that. Maybe it's a rule for the full game, but not quite for this tutorial mission. And play a game with larger units if you want to, so if you want to use your Chain Rasps instead of your Mermon Banshees, then you can play through this mission again with a bigger unit, just to get more used to the various double rounds of combat, basically. And coming up in the next issue of Mortal Realms, coming to the Mortal Realms is what I meant to say there, issue 11, First Terrain Kit, which is a Sigmarite Mausoleum. I spoke about that last week. It's a lovely little kit, and I reckon you can get away with using that in multiple games. There was a commenter, I think, that had said they used it in Age of Sigmar, they also used it in 40k, and I feel like they said they also used it in Bolt Action as well, or something like that. Check out the comments on my last video if you want to see for yourself. Yeah, so it's a really sort of nice generic little building. I mean, it looks like a mausoleum, but it doesn't look game specific, it doesn't look setting specific, so you can get away with using that in multiple games. And yeah, but the question is there, what exactly will we get? Because we're not going to get the whole Sigmarite Mausoleum kit. It used to be the Garden of Mordis kit with fences around it and walls and like 3 little mausoleum buildings. I think it's 3 anyway. Well, I think in the full kit you get 6, but over the course of Mortal Realms we're going to be getting 3. So, then, in issue 12, we are getting our next Stormcast hero. Fantastic stuff. It's going to be the Knight Questor, a lovely little Stormcast hero with sword and shield to add to our Stormcast forces. Right, that's it, guys. There's no Conquest video for you this week because Conquest is finished. Never mind, eh? So Conquest is finished. I'll be cracking on with the Mortal Realms videos, but do keep an eye out on the channel for more Conquest content as well. I'll be doing the battle reports that I mentioned on the previous video. Hopefully I'll have one up for this Sunday. Fingers crossed. So check out on the channel this Sunday. If you want to be notified when that video goes live though, make sure you ring my bell button. You press my bell button and select all notifications. Yeah, gonna leave it there for now, guys. But before I do, make sure you check out the link in the description below to my Patreon, as I mentioned. But like I said, I'll leave it there for now, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.